It occurred to me this morning. With the Steelers beating the Bears last night, there were 8 interconference games this weekend.
Right.
The AFC was 7-1 against the NFC, which is the only NFC team that won. Come on.
Ooh.
Come on. Tick, 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 tick.
I don't know. Who was the
tick.
Giants.
Your
the
dad
G-Men.
played for them.
The G-Men.
Yes.
Yes.
All the other ones, all the other NFC teams lost. All of them. The race for the 7th seed continues to be wide open in the NFC. The race for the 6th seed is in play again after the Saints lost, but the Saints didn't lose to an AFC team. 7 NFC teams lost to AFC teams, and the Steelers capped it with that victory last night over the Chicago Bears. It was one of those games where early on it just felt like it was going to be kind of like Colts-Jets that started Week 9, kind of a slow suffocation with extended garbage time. And, man, I wish the Mannings were on last night so, they could entertain us in a boring second half. Well, the second half was anything but boring. And you got to give the Bears credit for not folding the tents, for not giving up. They need to be encouraged by what they have in Justin Fields. Yeah, they didn't win. Giants are happy about that, too, because the Giants hold their first-round pick. Good news for the Giants every time the Bears lose. But they got to feel good about Justin Fields, right?
Got to. I look at like all the quarterbacks that I ranked coming out in the draft, and I look at Justin Fields and go, that might be the one I might be the most wrong about. First off, he's been pretty good from the start. We talk about a lot, like just the demeanor, looking like, the deer in the headlights, all that whole syndrome as a quarterback. Never have seen that from Justin Fields. And then I think last night is as comfortable as I saw him in a lot of instances in the pocket, making like big-time throws. The 2 throws we've just shown in the highlights, they're big-time. This is big-time down the middle. To this point, I feel like a lot of his throws are kind of like manage the football game type of football throws, and every now and then it was a deep throw down the field. Like last night, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they do a lot of different stuff on that side of the ball. And I know Pittsburgh won the game, no doubt, and we'll talk about that in a second. But to me, yeah, Justin Fields was the story of the game with some of the plays he made. Got off to a choppy start, like you said. They were a little all over the place, shooting themselves in the foot. But once he got a little comfortable, man, you see the talent. Moving around, making plays with his legs, threw some phenomenal footballs on the run. Even the last touchdown pass he had to Mooney, running to the left and just kind of flicking it with his wrist into the back left corner of the end zone. Those are things that I did not see consistently at Ohio State. In fact, not consistently at all. The throws like that where I'd go, whoa, he lost control of it. So good for him, and he was the star of the show last night, even though Pittsburgh Steelers won the football game.
He's got that deep ball that looks pretty, and I remember watching him play against Clemson in the college football playoff semifinal, or whatever acronyms and letters and names they use.
2 years ago.
The big game against Clemson. Just in January.
Oh, you're right. It was last year. Last year.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
It was for them to
firing the deep ball, looked
Yeah.
great, got blasted in the hip, kept going. And you forget about it because they lose in the next round as soundly as they did to Alabama. But this kid's got something, and we saw it with his legs against the 49ers, and we saw it with his arm last night, and just hung in there. And I felt bad for him. I felt bad for the Bears after all that work they did, especially because at times it felt like they were working against black and gold and black and white as well.
You think?
A little bit. Shades of Super Bowl 40.
Game-winning drive, ball on the money
Arthur,
there.
Almost. They figured out 35.
Well, it was game-winning drive to this
Arthur
point.
Mullet was the guy to pick.
Yeah,
he was the guy to pick on.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He seemed to be the guy to pick on for sure. And Justin Fields, though, this play right here, that's sick right there. That was a tight window. That was not an easy throw. You're right. It's back to picking on him again. But either way, the degree of difficulty, and how many times did we see that last night about Justin Fields? Like, hey, nobody open, or certainly, hey, the pocket's collapsing, and he does a great job of kind of getting out of the pocket and, saving the play from being a sack, maybe getting positive yards with his legs, maybe getting a completion. But I thought it was really impressive from that standpoint. And you're right. Not only was the Steelers' D good, I thought the officiating, was very suspect throughout with some very controversial calls. We're going to forget about them because there was like 2 or 3 at the end that were so bad that we're going to forget about the first 3 quarters that were actually really bad too. And that to me was annoying watching the football game. I'll say that much.
And this is a theme that keeps popping up.
It does keep popping up.
Time. And you don't notice it. When the officiating isn't horrendous, you don't notice it. But when it's bad, it's really bad, and it really does stand out. And they really do need to embrace strategies, creative ideas for improving it. We harp on sky judge, booth umpire, but there are other ways to demand more from the officials.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.